Welcome to Dark Psychology World Channel. I hope you like it. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you. Now I will start reading this book to you. The Book of Letting Go, published by Nathalie. During times of unexpected challenges, when unfortunate events occur, and when we feel dissatisfied with our circumstances, it is common to question, why is this happening to me? It's challenging to find a straightforward solution to this universal question. In order to embrace the challenges that everyone encounters, it is important to adopt a fresh perspective and consider timeless truths. This means approaching life's fundamental principles in a similar manner to how mathematicians approach mathematics, navigators approach navigation, chemists approach chemistry, and electricians approach electricity. They understand that it moves from a higher to a lower potential. They acquire knowledge about conductivity and insulation. They install the wiring in your house. Lesson 1: Why is this happening to me? Your mind functions as a guiding principle, so you believe in looking inward to find guidance from a higher power. Consider things that are true, just, lovely, pure, honest, and of good report. Focus your thoughts on these things. True understanding arises when you approach your thoughts from the perspective of the divine. Within there exists a principle of harmony, not of discord, a principle of beauty, not ugliness, a principle of joy, not sadness, a principle of love, not hate, a principle of wholeness and perfection. There is no principle of sickness. No one in the entire world could ever be healed if there were no simple and easy to understand solutions. Understand that when your thoughts are devoid of fear and worry, you are considering things from the perspective of the divine center within you, and God communicates, thinks, and acts through you. Thus your words are filled with wisdom, truth, and beauty. They bring about harmony, health, and peace. So it seems that you believe, thus originating from the divine seed pour within. Many individuals fail to engage in critical thinking. Many people fail to engage in critical thinking. Instead, they mistakenly believe they are engaging in it. True thinking, specifically constructive thinking, is completely free from fear. Fear stems from external factors that have a causal effect. Externals are the result, not the root. Because it's important to keep in mind that if we don't think for ourselves, others will do the thinking for us. Why let someone else choose your mood when you have the power to decide for yourself? What about newspapers? Can you please provide more information about the headlines you are referring to? What about the collective consciousness? Everyone has their own perspective. We all share a collective consciousness. We all have the ability to communicate with each other telepathically. Everyone in this world is connected to us in some way. Thus, if you fail to engage in constructive, harmonious, and peaceful thinking, the collective consciousness of humanity will take charge of your thoughts, and the collective consciousness believes in tragedy, misfortune, sickness, disease, accidents, and it engages in hate, murder, and various other actions. Is that the type of mindset you desire to have, guiding your thoughts and influencing you? That's the result of not engaging in critical thinking. These negative vibrations or thoughts of the mass mind can affect you and manifest as accidents, misfortune, sickness, or disease. There are unfortunate incidents happening in mines and airplane crashes on a regular basis. People are not inherently evil or bad just because unfortunate events occur, such as submarine sinking, floods in cities, or accidents causing harm to children. Similarly, explosions in factories and other incidents happen as well. There is a significant loss of life. It is important to maintain a consistent prayer practice, maintain a strong Spiritual connection by focusing your mind on the truths of God, which will help eliminate any thoughts that are not aligned with God. Do not dwell on the past or reminisce about old things. Instead, focus on what matters most to me. Leave the past behind and focus on what lies ahead. I am determined to reach the goal and win the prize. The Bible teaches that our actions have consequences if we choose to cultivate positive thoughts of peace, harmony, health, beauty, and prosperity. We will experience the corresponding outcomes, on the other hand, if we allow negative thoughts of sickness, lack, strife, and contention to take root. We will inevitably face the repercussions of these choices. It's important to keep in mind that our subconscious mind is similar to soil. Whatever seed we plant in the garden of our mind, it will grow. We plant thoughts according to biblical teachings. When we wholeheartedly embrace them, your subconscious mind will manifest whatever your conscious mind truly believes, regardless of its accuracy. If you don't think for yourself, you'll be influenced by the collective mindset, which tends to focus on negativity like misfortune, sickness, calamities, and tragedies. It is important for you to engage in independent thinking. Clear thinking is devoid of fear, worry, and anxiety, as it originates from the divine center within. When you align your thoughts with God's, you tap into the power of positive thinking. So you never ask someone, what were you thinking about so intensely? Perhaps they had no complex ideas at all. Perhaps they didn't engage in any personal prayers, and they responded, I am willing to accept whatever happens. Thus, the global consciousness acknowledges the existence of various illnesses and diseases. If you don't take the time to clear your mind, nobody else will do it for you. What is the impact on a home when you are absent for a period of 3 or 4 months? Unwanted rodent and insects make their way inside. Everything in the house goes wrong as the paint peels off the walls, making it uninhabitable. Just like you cleanse your body, it's important to also cleanse your mind. Regular shampooing is important to maintain cleanliness and clarity. Our subconscious mind has the power to manifest whatever we truly believe. A chaplain at a hospital in Massachusetts shared that she often encountered patients who expressed frustration with their circumstances, questioning why they had to go through such difficulties. Why is this happening to me? What could be the reason for God's anger towards me? Why am I being punished by God? I attend church regularly and strive to be charitable and kind-hearted. I can't help but wonder if I've unknowingly done something wrong, which may be the cause of my illness. The law of life is tied to our beliefs. What we believe shapes our reality and influences how we live. It's important to have faith in the goodness of God and maintain a positive outlook. Trusting in God's guidance, harmony, and healing power can bring us inner peace and make us feel whole, pure, relaxed, and perfect. The chaplain shared that she often prayed with patients and helped them transform their beliefs by recognizing the spiritual nature of their bodies and shifting their thoughts. They were able to diminish the power of illness. She taught them a prayer that went like this: the infinite healing presence flows through me as harmony, health, peace, wholeness, and perfection. I feel the presence of God's healing love in every part of my being. I am made whole, pure, relaxed, and perfect. She taught them to repeat this prayer frequently, knowing what they were doing and why they were doing it. Thus, the conscious mind was writing these truths down in their subconscious. Whatever you impress or inscribe in your subconscious will come to pass as form, function, experience, and events. As a result of this, many patients made miraculous recoveries. The law of life is the law of belief. If you fear Sickness you attracted, so the law of the Lord is perfect. You can't think one thing and produce another. The law of life is the law of belief. Trouble of any kind is nature's alarm system that we are thinking wrongly in that direction. Nothing but a change of thought can set us free. There is a law of cause and effect operating at all times. Nothing happens to man without his mental consent and participation. You do not have to think of an accident to have it befall you. Haven't you seen a man driving a car getting in and out drunk? You said there goes an accident. Why? There's a mind behind it. There's a mood. There's an emotion behind the wheel. There's always a mind behind it. Is that mind disturbed? Is that mind emotionally disturbed? If you are emotionally disturbed, it affects your vision. You don't see so well in companies where workers have dogmatic and domineering bosses. Resentment of the boss leads to negative thoughts in the worker's mind, which results in carelessness and accidents. Misfortune, accidents, and tragedies of various kinds are signs of mental and emotional disorders that have broken out into manifestation. We must train our minds to think in a new way, to turn back to God and align our thoughts and mental imagery with the infinite life, love, truth, and beauty of God. Then we become channels for the divine. Your mind several times a day and affirm slowly, quietly, and lovingly, God flows through me as harmony, health, peace, joy, wholeness, and perfection. I am a vessel for God's presence and communication. I always feel the presence of God's spell. I am guided by God's wisdom in every aspect of my life. No matter where I am, the power of divine right action prevails. Everything I do brings joy and tranquil. I am embraced by the boundless love of God which envelopes and encompasses me. I am a vessel for God's presence and communication. I'm surrounded by the sacred circle of God's eternal love, and the whole armor of God surrounds me. As you dwell on these eternal verities, you will establish patterns of divine order in your subconscious mind, and whatever you impress in the subconscious mind is expressed on the screen of space. Therefore, you will find yourself watched over at all times by an overshadowing presence, your Heavenly Father, who responds to you when you call upon Him. The Bible says, "Call upon me, I will answer you. I'll be with you in trouble. I'll set you on high, because you hath known my name." Now all of us should learn how the subjective self in us works. One of the great corollaries of the great law of suggestion is this: whatever you suggest to another, you are also suggesting to yourself. When you are giving a suggestion to another, you are giving it to yourself, because you are the only thinker in your universe, and you respond to the way you think. Whatever you are wishing for the other person, you are wishing for yourself. You are always under the law of your own thought. This is the basis of the golden rule, which also tells you to treat your enemies well, to pray for them that despitefully use you. In other words, never dwell on ill will for anyone or against any person on the face of the earth. You do so at your own peril, because whatever you are thinking about the other, you are creating in your own mind, your body, your circumstances, your pocketbook. Also, that's a simple truth. Radiate love, peace, and goodwill to everybody. Don't judge with what judgment you judge, ye shall be judged. Your judgment of the other is your judgment of yourself. That's the conclusion. That's your verdict in your own mind. Many people suffer from sickness, disease, accidents, and misfortune because they do not think constructively. They are letting the mass mind or the race mind or the law of averages govern them. They're not bad people, but they refuse to think for themselves. They do not keep prayed up. They do not neutralize the mass mind. You know very well if you read the newspapers in the morning and listen To the radio or TV at night, what do you hear about? Murder, rape, hate, jealousy, and all sorts of misfortunes seem to happen. To people, they tell you about all the bad things that have happened. They don't tell you about any of the good things. Well, likewise, if you do not keep up, if you do not think for yourself, the mass mind does your thinking for you. Therefore, you must ask yourself, am I thinking constructively, harmoniously, peacefully? Of course you answer that. Question yourself. You are what you think all day long, for as we think in out the heart, subconscious mind, so we are, so do we become, and so do we express. That's the whole law. Whatever you sow in your mind, so shall you reap. All of us are in the mass mind, the race mind, the great psychic. See, the mass mind believes in sickness, accidents, death, misfortune, and tragedies of all kinds. If we do not do our own thinking, the mass mind, the race mind, will do our thinking for us. Gradually, the thoughts of the mass mind, impinging on our consciousness, may reach a point of saturation and precipitate as accident, sudden illness, calamity, heart attacks, so-called tragedies that happen in the air, the sea. The majority of people do not think they think. They think you are thinking. When you differentiate between that which is false and that which is real, to think is to choose how many people are thinking. You have the capacity to say yes and no. Let your conversation be yea and no. No, you say yes to the truth of being, and you reject everything unlike God or the truth. If the mental instrument could not choose, you would not be an individual. You have the ability to accept and reject. You can think on whatsoever things are true, lovely, noble, and godlike all day long. There is nothing in the entire world to stop you from thinking constructively, harmoniously, and peacefully. You are thinking when you know that there is an infinite intelligence which responds to your thoughts, and that no matter what the problem is, as you think about a divine solution and the happy ending, you will find the subjective wisdom within you, responding to you and revealing to you the perfect plan and show you the way to go everywhere you move. Today, suggestions of people in your office, in your home, radio, television, and all that, or the neighbors, their thoughts and their moods are playing upon the subtle receptivity of your mind, whether you know it or not. These impressions are going down into your mind and muddling it and befalling it. If a building were left unattended for any length of time, you know what would happen to it. You have to give attention to what is true, what is noble, and what is of God. Over the years, I have had many people with medical problems come to me for advice. Some have truly serious problems, others are trivial. In any case, I strongly recommend their seeking professional medical help. I am not a doctor, nor am I a healer in the sense that the prophet Elisha, Jesus, and others have been, but often I find that the true problem is not medical but spiritual. One of the strangest cases brought to my attention was that of a woman who had suffered a series of illnesses over a period of time. She told me, God has it in for me, I'm a sinner. This is why I'm being punished. She also told me that she went to a man who hypnotized her, read her past. He attributed her illnesses to a life she had previously lived, in which she had been an evil person who had harmed many people, as she had not been punished in that life. She was now suffering for the sin she had committed then. Of course that was nonsense. It only made things worse. I explained to her an age-old truth: there is but one power, called God, the living Spirit Almighty. Not 2 or 3 or 1,000. It is the creative intelligence in all of us that created us. This power becomes to us what we believe it to be. To the forward I am forward, to the pure I am purer. If you think and believe there is a God of love, then the God of love will respond to you and become a loving being to you. If you think that God is punishing you, that you must suffer according to your thought and belief, it is done unto you. But in reality you are punishing yourself, as the Bible says it is done unto him as he believes. For as a man thinketh in his heart or subconscious mind, so is he, so does he become, so does he. Expressed, this woman was seeking justification and alibis for her suffering. She was looking outside herself instead of realizing the source of her illness was always in her deeper mind, because nothing happens to the body except there is a pattern in the subconscious mind. I asked her to look inside herself and determine if there was something in her past about which she felt a deep sense of guilt. She confessed that she had a love affair with a married man a few years ago, and that she felt guilty and should be punished. With guilt comes fear and apprehension, and with fear comes punishment. She felt that she should be punished, and she was punishing herself. Guilt is the curse of curses. It's one of the most destructive of all emotions, and being a destructive negative emotion, it cannot have a constructive outlet. These emotions get snarled up in the subconscious mind and come forth as illness and disease. This unresolved remorse was the psychic wound behind her illnesses. I helped her realize that God was not punishing her, but she was punishing herself by her own thoughts. My explanation was the cure. She forgave herself, and she sat down for 20 minutes several times a day and said, God's healing love saturates my soul, and I forgive myself for harboring these negative, destructive thoughts. Her illnesses abated, and she was soon back to a full, healthy, productive life. There is no worse suffering than a guilty conscience, and certainly none more destructive. This woman had been punishing herself for several years by her destructive thinking. When she ceased to condemn herself and began to claim that the infinite healing presence was saturating her whole being, that God dwells in every cell of her body, her illnesses disappeared. When you stand praying, forgive yourself first. You can't give what you don't have. As she decided to forgive herself, God's healing love healed her. In ancient times, they attributed thoughts and feelings to the heart. Today we know it is your subconscious mind. Whatever idea is emotionalized and felt as true comes to pass once it reaches the subconscious mind. Your subconscious assumptions, beliefs, convictions dictate and control all your conscious actions. Your subconscious beliefs impel, propel, and compel whatever you see, how you reap. Your thoughts and feelings create your destiny. You are what you think all day long. If you fail to think constructively, wisely, and judiciously, then someone else or the mass mind will do your thinking for you, and perhaps make a complete mess of your life. If you believe that God is infinite goodness, boundless love, absolute harmony, boundless wisdom, the God presence will respond accordingly to you by the law of reciprocal relationship, and you will find yourself blessed in countless ways. The forces of life depend on how you use them. Atomic energy is not evil, it is good or bad. Depending on the way you use it, you can use atomic energy in medicine. You can drive a ship across the ocean with it. You can use electricity to kill another, or to vacuum the floor. You can use water to quench a child's thirst or drown it. You can use nitric acid to paint a beautiful Madonna on the window pane, or you can blind a person with it. The wind, which blows the ship on the rocks, can also carry it. So safety, the uses to which all things or objects in the world are put, are determined by the thoughts and motivations of humankind. Good and evil are in our minds. Good and evil are the movements of my own mind relative to the one being, forever whole, pure, and immaculate in itself. It is the human mind that determines the use of the forces and objects in the world. The creative force is in our minds. There is no power in the manifest universe except we give power to externals. Externals are an effect. They are not a cause. The scientific thinker does not make the phenomenalistic world a cause. It's an effect. The cause is your thought and feeling. No matter how long you might have used your mind in a negative and destructive manner, the minute you begin to use it the right way, the right results follow. Remember not the former things, nor consider the things of old. This one thing I do, forgetting the things that are behind and reaching forth to the things that are before. I press towards the mark for the prize. The prize, of course, is health, happiness, peace of mind, joy, and all the good things of life. Think good, good follows. Think evil, evil follows. The minute you enthrone in your mind godlike ideas and eternal verities, they generate their own fragrance. Then your heart becomes a chalice for God's love, and the brain and the heart unite in accord and concord based on eternal verities. Then all your ways will be pleasantness, and all your paths will be paths of peace. Nothing happens by chance. Everything is pushed from behind. It's a universe of law and order. Therefore, everything happens according to the law of cause and effect. There is a cause behind everything we do. Not see the chaos is operating in a given instance, so we attribute it to chance, coincident, or accident, or things of that nature. Charles was afraid that he was losing his vision. He went to an ophthalmologist and learned that he did not have cataracts or glaucoma or any of the usual symptoms leading to blindness. Further tests found no medical evidence of incipient blindness, yet in fact his vision was slowly but surely dimming. The medical profession today understands that psychic factors play a role in all disease. Disease is the lack of peace, lack of equilibrium, lack of serenity. It's impossible to have a healthy mind and a sick body. A healthy mind is a healthy body. Nothing happens in the body except the equivalent is in the mind. There is no doubt that visual problems can be brought on by workings of the mind. Emotional reactions can cause the involuntary muscles to twist the eyeball out of shape, treating the mental and emotional factors of the individual rather than just concentrating on the eyes may reveal the basic emotional factor, the reason why the subconscious mind is selecting an ailment that tends to shut out everything except the immediate surroundings. In my conversations with Charles, he constantly complained about his mother-in-law who was living in his home. He vehemently stated, "I can't stand the sight of that woman." He was full of suppressed rage. His emotional system, which could not stand the strain any longer, selected the eyes as a scapegoat. The explanation was the cure. In this case, he was surprised to learn that negative emotions, if persisted in snile up in the subconscious mind and being negative, must have a negative outlet. The commands to his subconscious mind were negative. "I hate the sight of her. I don't want to see her anymore." I explained to him, "Your subconscious mind takes you literally." His statements were accepted by his subconscious mind, and the subconscious looked upon that as a request and proceeded to bring on loss of vision. He and his wife agreed that it would be best if his mother-in-law lived elsewhere. They arranged for her to move to a senior citizen facility not too far away. However, moving her to another residence alone would not solve the problem entirely. Charles had to erase his hatred of his mother-in-law from his mind. At my suggestion, he prayed for her by releasing her to God and wishing for her all the blessings of heaven. He did it in a very simple way. He said, "I surrender my mother-in-law," mentioning her name, "to God completely. I send love, peace, and goodwill to her. May she be blessed with all the gifts from above. I understand what you're saying. I am being genuine. I declare it shall all come to pass, and the light of God shall shine upon her ways. As he continued to do that, I explained to him that he would know when he had completely accepted her, because he could meet her in his mind, and there would be no sting there. He would no longer sizzle. His vision began to improve almost immediately, and soon his eyesight was restored to normal. The ophthalmologist looked at his eyes and said, "You solved your problem," and he had solved his problem. He could meet her in his mind, and there was no sting there. He no longer sizzled. In the beginning of this chapter, we brought out that you should concentrate your thoughts on whatsoever things are true, lovely, noble, and godlike. Think on these things, because you are what you think all day long, and our life is what our thoughts have made it. You don't want to irrational mind thinking, and you do. You no, you don't. If you do not think for yourself, you must ask yourself, who is manipulating your mind? Now ask yourself, do I own my own mind? Do I come to my own decisions? Am I thinking clearly according to godlike patterns? You cannot dodge or circumvent the law of mind. It is done unto you as you believe. Years ago, the English sailors blamed scurvy on the salt meat they had hardtack, and so on. Then someone told them to eat some limes, some lemons full of vitamin C. And of course they were healed, but you see, again, that was ignorance, carelessness, indifference, stupidity. It was a void in the mind, because all the islands and all the countries they visited in their long voyages were full of oranges, apples, limes, lemons, and all kinds of citrus fruits. So where was the lack? The lack was in the mind, a void in the mind. Ignorance is no excuse for the law. It was carelessness, indifference, and apathy. People are constantly attributing their ailments to the atmosphere, the weather, to malpractice, evil entities, germs, viruses, and diets. Most of us have no doubt that an invisible virus can make us ill, but we don't always believe in the invisible presence and power called God, which created us and created the whole world. We pollute the air with strange notions and false doctrines if we believe that by nearing an electric fan we can catch cold or get a stiff neck. That belief, when accepted, becomes our master and ruler and causes us to experience a cold. Millions of people sit under fans all over the world. They don't get a stiff neck. They don't get a cold. Millions of people go out in the night air. They don't get a chill or pneumonia ever. Millions of people get their feet wet. But maybe your mother said, when you get your feet wet and you don't dry them and put on new socks, you'll get your death of cold or pneumonia or something. But the water never said, I'll give you pneumonia, a chill, a fever, or anything. According to your belief, it is done unto you. According to your faith, it is done unto you. Your faith should be in the goodness of God, in the land of the living, in the guidance of God, and the healing power of God, the abundance of God, and in the fact that an infinite intelligence responds to you when you call upon it. So the fan is harmless, it's mechanical, it's innocuous. Your faith can be used two ways. You can have faith in an invisible virus to give you the flu, or you can have faith in the invisible spirit within you to flow through you as harmony, health, peace, guidance, and right action as a God or spirit. And you cannot be sick, and the spirit in you is God. What is true of God is true of you, because the word individual means the indivisible one. That's the living spirit Almighty within you. The Bible says, I said ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. Believe that you are a child of the living God. You are believed that the living spirit within you is the God presence, and that can't be sick. And because that can't be sick, that's the reality of you. Emerson said, we humans think our fate is alien, Because the cause is hidden but the soul. The subconscious mind contains the event. That shall befall it, for the event is only the actualization of its thoughts. What we pray to ourselves for is always granted. The devil in the Bible means ignorance or misunderstanding it, means a false concept of God, life, and the universe. The devil means ignorance or misunderstanding, misapplication of law. Actually, it means God upside down, a twisted, morbid, diabolical concept of the God of love. There's no being with hooves, horns, and a tail. This comes out of our distorted, twisted imagination, not willing to admit that the evil is within ourselves. We postulate it outside ourselves. Surely God is omnipresent. Omnipresent means it must be present in you, otherwise the word omnipresent has no meaning. A man told me, for example, that he was wounded in the jungle and he was praying that someone would come and rescue him, and he said there was a man who was hunting in that jungle and had a sudden feeling that he should change his course. He did so and came and administered to my wound and helped me back to a home. The man who was wounded was praying for help, and this man who was out hunting changed his course. He had an intuitive feeling, perception. It was the infinite intelligence guiding the hunter to become his rescuer, but it was the one being operating in both. It is done unto you as you believe, and a belief is a thought in the mind. No external power or evil entity is trying to lure or harm you. People are constantly attributing their ailments to the atmosphere, the weather, and some attribute their trouble to the voodoo. They say it's black magic or someone is practicing voodoo against me. No person has any power. The power of God is in you. One with God is a majority. If God be for you, who can be against you? Spell live backwards. You have evil that's living life backwards, then you have your evil. Your evil is the inversion of the life principle, which is God. God moves as unity, seeks to express himself through you as his beauty, love, joy, peace, and divine order. The will of God for you is a greater measure of life, love, truth, and beauty, something transcending your fondest dreams. Realize therefore that God is guiding you, that there is right action in your life. Read and meditate on the 91st Psalm, see chapter 6, and realize that you dwell in the secret place of the Most High, that you abide in the shadow of the Almighty. You'll say of the Lord, he is your refuge and your fortress. My God, God in him will you trust. He covers you with his feathers, under his wings shall you rest. Just like the hen gathers the chickens together to protect them, so does that heavenly Father in you surround you with the invisible arm of God's love, rendering you impervious to all harm. You become immunized. You become God intoxicated, because you've received the divine antibody. The false idea in your mind is called the adversary, the devil, Satan, and so on. The devils that bevel us are enmity, strife, hatred. They are devils created by ourselves. They drive some people insane, because if you put gangsters in charge of your mind, what do you expect if you fail to believe in the goodness of God and a God of love? The extent to which you believe this can well be your sock old devil, which is the source of your pains, aches, and misfortune. God, or the living spirit, Almighty, or the life principle, doesn't judge or punish. It can't. Good and evil are the movements of one's own mind. It is very primitive thinking to believe that God is punishing us, or that a devil is tempting us. Our state of consciousness is always made manifest. That's the way you think, believe, and feel whatever you give mental consent to. There is no other cause in the world. Men, women, and children are constantly testifying to our state of mind, to our mental attitudes, to our convictions, to our beliefs. We must remember that the majority of people do not discipline, control, or direct their Thinking and mental imagery the long. Godlike channels therefore their failure to think constructively and harmoniously from the standpoint of the Infinite One means that they leave their minds open to the irrational mass mind, which is full of fears, hates, jealousy, and all kinds of negative happenings and destructive thinking of all kinds. There is the story of a man who had been fired from his job by a cruel and mean boss. He made up his mind to shoot him every day. He waited behind a shed near the factory for the boss to pass by to avoid being caught. He planned to wait for a time when nobody else was near. He had a rifle. On the third morning, when he was stealthily moving into the shed, he stumbled. The rifle went off and a bullet pierced his heart. He killed himself. People called that an accident. That was no accident. He had murder in his heart, and murder is of the heart. In the 10 Commandments we are told, thou shalt do no murder. It doesn't say thou shalt not kill. That is a commonly held belief because of an early mistranslation of the original Hebrew. When you read the original, it says thou shalt do no murder. Then it tells you that murder is of the heart when you hate and when you resent, and you are full of hostility and resentment. Then you are murdering love, peace, harmony, discernment, kindness, and everything that's good. And as you continue to hate and resent, these reach a point of saturation in your subconscious mind and are precipitated as cancer, a bullet, a fatal accident, or something else. But that negative, destructive emotion must have an outlet, and sooner or later reaches a point of saturation and is precipitated on the screen of space. There are no accidents. There's a mind, a mood, a feeling behind a car, train, bicycle, and also behind the gun. A gun is harmless. It is just a piece of metal. It doesn't do any harm to anybody. It's the mind behind it. You can kill with a stone, kill with poison, with a club, 1,001 ways, but the stone is harmless. The club is harmless. How do you use it? This man had murder in his heart for a long time, and his subconscious responded accordingly. The Bible tells you, no manifestation cometh unto me save I the Father draw it, and the Father of all is your thought and feeling. It fathers everything. The union of your conscious and subconscious mind. Your thought and feeling is the cause of your destiny. That's the cause of every single thing in your world. Whatever your conscious and subconscious minds agree on comes to pass. So any idea emotionalized and felt as true must come to pass. The Father is your state of consciousness, your own creative power, which brings all things to pass in your world. No experience comes to you unless there is an affinity in your own mind. Two unlike things repel each other. Harmony and discord do not dwell together. Therefore, if you believe, the whole armor of God surrounds you, enfolds you, and enwraps you, and the harmonizing, healing power of God takes care of you. You can't be on a train that gets wrecked. You can't be on a plane that catches on fire, or where someone planted a bomb. If you walk and talk with God and believe that God is guiding you and that the law of harmony is always governing you, then you cannot be on a train that is ready, because, as we said, discord and harmony do not dwell together. It would be naive to assume that changing one's beliefs from negative to positive could cure all illnesses and disabilities. There are indeed organic and physical causes for most ailments. However, there is a significant portion of health problems that are psychosomatic. It is these that thought change can reverse. I have heard about examples of this in many countries and over many time periods, and I have been instrumental in helping many people by providing them with prayers and meditations to help program their subconscious minds to bring them back to health. Guilt, worry, and fear are the psychosomatic equivalent of germs, and viruses by replacing thoughts of guilt, worry, and fear with thoughts of faith, confidence, and belief. Healing is accelerated. Most cases are not at all dramatic. They may take the form of insomnia, allergies, headaches, digestive disorders, or depression. In other cases, they may be major maladies such as tumors, paralysis, ulcers, coronary disease, or psychological breakdowns. When afflicted, we tend to blame others. It may be another person. I've been cursed by an enemy. It may be your family history. I come from a weak genetic background. It may be divine retribution. I'm being punished by God, as shown earlier in this chapter. The real cause lies within you. It is you and only you who have control of your thoughts. Others may influence you, but it is you and only you who can make the decision on what will be accepted by your conscious mind and seep down into your subconscious. Let us cease blaming others. Let us look within for the cause of all. Believe in God, believe in the goodness of God, believe in the love of God and God's guidance, and you will find that all your ways will be those of pleasantness, and all your paths will be paths of peace, because you are belief expressed. People ask me about children. They say children don't know how to pray, and some children are caught in a fire, drowned at sea, on a ship, and things of that nature. Well, children are under the watchful eyes of their parents, and God gave love to all fathers and all mothers, the lion and the lioness too, to all animals. God's love dwells within the father and mother, and it is their mission to cause that child to grow in the image and the likeness of the divine presence of God. So they are there to realize that the child grows up in the image and the likeness of the dominant mental and emotional climate of the home the child cannot yet discern and reason. Therefore, the parents mold the consciousness of the child. A child is subject to the atmosphere of the home. Therefore, you realize that the child is God's child, and God's love fills its soul. It's growing in wisdom, truth, and beauty. So God planted his love in fathers and mothers, that they might lead their children through the darkness of the night and through the vicissitudes of life into a realization of God's holy presence, and to teach him of the God of love, and that the love of God is flowing through them in transcendent loveliness, and that he careth for them. And children brought up to believe that God is love, and his love enfolds them, surrounds them, and enwraps them, will grow in a magnificent way, and God will be with them all the days of their music. Life in a nutshell. When your thoughts are completely free from fear and worry, you are thinking from the standpoint of the divine center within you, and God speaks, thinks, and acts through you. Therefore, you speak in words of wisdom, truth, and beauty, words of harmony, health, and peace. So you think, therefore, from the God center within. If you do not think constructively, harmoniously, and peacefully, the mass mind will do your thinking for you, and that mass mind believes in tragedy, misfortune, sickness, disease, accidents, hate, murder, and all sorts of things. If you don't do your own thinking, these negative vibrations or thoughts of the mass mind move in upon you, reach a point of saturation, precipitate as accident, misfortune, sickness, disease. The law of life is the law of belief. If you fear sickness, you attract it. If you think good health, you will be healthy. So the law of the Lord is perfect. You can't think one thing and produce another. Trouble of any kind is nature's alarm system that we are thinking wrongly in that direction. Nothing but a change of thought can set us free. There is no worse suffering than a guilty conscience, and certainly none more destructive. Stop condemning yourself and begin to accept that the infinite healing presence saturates your whole being, that God dwells in every Cell of your body, it is done unto you as you believe, and a belief is a thought in the mind. No external power or evil entity is trying to lure or harm you. No person has any power. The power of God is in you. One with God is a majority. If God be for you, who can be against you? Guilt, worry, and fear are the psychosomatic equivalent of germs and viruses. By replacing thoughts of guilt, worry, and fear with thoughts of faith, confidence, and belief, healing is accelerated. Lesson 2: Prayer and meditate will solve your problem. Occasionally, everyone encounters issues that can become so overwhelming that they take over their lives. Some of these claims lack evidence. We often find ourselves concerned about things that are unlikely to happen or are products of our imagination. However, the problems are indeed real and pressing. We are often concerned about debts that we may struggle to repay, as well as the well-being of ourselves and our loved ones. We often find ourselves concerned about our employment or financial investments. To address these concerns, it's important to take practical measures to resolve the issue. However, it is crucial to train our minds to have the confidence to overcome challenges and maintain a positive perspective on life. There is a single method, a crucial key to achieving this. Prayer and meditation are the key. What exactly is prayer? Every thought and feeling you have serves as a form of prayer. Every thought has the potential to become reality unless counteracted by a more powerful thought. Prayer involves making a conscious connection with the infinite intelligence that resides within you. Prayer is most effective when we acknowledge the presence of a higher power within us which can manifest our desires. If we agree that this is accurate, prayer is most effective when we maintain a positive and unwavering mindset that leads to strong conviction. Once your desire is fully embraced by your subconscious mind, it effortlessly aligns with the creative law. One way to know if you truly believe something is when your mind fully accepts it and cannot imagine the opposite. It's important to hold on to your own beliefs. By doing so, you'll truly impress your subconscious mind, leading it to respond accordingly. Your subconscious mind is influenced by your conscious thoughts and imagination, which in turn is guided by an infinite intelligence. It's important to make a clear decision in your conscious mind. It's important to make a clear decision about what you want to know and then have faith in your inner wisdom to provide the answer. When you entrust your request to your subconscious mind, have complete faith in its ability to achieve and respond to your desires. According to the Bible, if you ask, seek, and knock, you will receive. Find and have doors opened for you. Anyone who asks will receive, anyone who seeks will find, and to anyone who knocks, the door will be open. Which one of you, if his son asks for bread, would give him a stone? Will he give him a serpent if he asks for fish? According to the Bible, when you ask for bread, you will receive what you asked for, not something else. Continue to inquire, search, and persist until you receive a reply from your subconscious mind, which is known for its receptiveness. Get excited. Rest assured that there is always a solution to every problem, a way out of every dilemma, and no condition is incurable. Some individuals hold the belief that they cannot be cured, and as a result, their belief becomes their reality. However, anything is possible with God. Everyone desires peace and tranquility in their lives. Our strength lies in finding serenity in God, who is always present to heal and protect us. Having a deep sense of serenity allows us to stay calm and composed even when faced with chaos and uncertainty in the world. Understanding the concept of serenity Ity is accessible to everyone and can be seen as a divine quality. It serves as a place of solace and protection during challenging and ever-changing times, searching for stability and sustenance in the external world is a futile endeavor. The world outside is always in a state of constant flux or transformation. Our concerns and anxieties disrupt our peace of mind. Restoration is possible through effective prayer. To pray effectively, you need to align your thoughts with the timeless truths that remain constant. There's no need to beg, supplicate, or beseech by denying that what you seek is already given to you. You are actually attracting more lack and limitation. It's important to remember that God is both the giver and the gift. Whatever you desire already exists, as everything originates from the infinite. Just rearrange your thoughts and align yourself with the truth. Prayer can be quite helpful. You can assert that the perfect of the infinite one prevails in your mind and in the minds of others. This prayer is incredibly effective in bringing about absolute harmony. It has the power to animate, sustain, and permeate the entire atmosphere, yielding positive results. Organize your thoughts, imagery, and responses with a focus on peace and harmony. When encountering hatred in others, remember that divine love has the power to dissolve anything unlike itself in both their minds and hearts as well as in your own. This prayer would be effective. You share the same qualities as the infinite. Understanding this truth will liberate you. If you're ever unsure about a challenging problem, just confidently state that the answer has been revealed to you by the wisdom of the infinite. You'll get it. The concept of God refers to the boundless presence and power that resides within you, governing the principles of life and influencing the workings of your conscious and subconscious mind in a place where divine love, peace, harmony, and joy reside. Evil, harm, and sickness have no presence. Practicing the presence of God involves filling your soul with love, peace, power, harmony, and right action. This can be a solution to all your problems. If you hold on to negative beliefs about sickness, disease, and failure, you will consistently experience the outcomes that align with those beliefs. Everyone has access to the profound truths of the infinite, just like how the sun shines on both the just and the unjust, and the rain falls on both the good and the evil. Having faith in God is all that is required. Understanding the true essence of faith involves embracing the practice of being in the presence of God. Throughout history, humans have pondered the reasons behind wars, famines, disasters, and ill health. These are provided to help us grow and reach a state of inner peace. The challenges and difficulties we face are meant to help us grow and develop. They do not have malicious or malevolent intentions. The cause of our suffering lies in the veil of spiritual ignorance, which obscures our understanding and prevents us from realizing our own powers of goodness, love, and light. The challenges we face in life do not stem from external factors or situations, but rather from our own selves. This concept may not be well received by individuals who prefer to focus solely on their grievances and hardships. However, for those who are seeking personal growth and transformation, there is a powerful force within us that constantly reminds us of our untapped potential. It encourages us to keep striving and exploring rather than becoming complacent and stagnant. Many people tend to blame society, the world, or their parents and family for their unhappiness and misery. However, this belief is not accurate. The wisdom of the presence within reminds us that we hold the power to achieve and succeed. We have sought greater understanding and have found a better path. One of our Greatest victories is realizing that there are certain things beyond our control, and it is unnecessary for us to desire to change them. May we be granted the wisdom to discern the difference. All that is requested of you is a shift in perspective and firm belief. It is a fundamental belief that every individual has the inherent right to be themselves. Allow them to discover their ultimate fulfillment in God. You will feel a great sense of relief as the burden of the world is lifted from your shoulders. You are not accountable for the world. Take a moment to free yourself from the belief that you are accountable for all the problems and injustices in the world. Encourage self-discovery for everyone, including your children. You have done your utmost to instill a sense of ethics and morality in them, which is truly commendable. Allow them to be set free. Surrender them to a higher power. Free yourself from the burden of thinking you're responsible for everything and having a messianic complex. You are not. It is not possible to save the world. It is your own responsibility. Transform yourself and the world around you for the better. This contributes to the betterment of the world and humanity. It is your responsibility. Another option is to patiently wait for the world to change as a whole. Why continue to tire and drain yourself? What has it achieved? Understanding serenity requires a level of spiritual maturity. It becomes clear when we understand that God, the Father of all, is in control of the universe and the world. Father within doeth the works. It is important to focus on oneself and only oneself. This is the key to finding serenity in the midst of change. These ideas may come across as insensitive. It's not. It is straightforward and efficient. A few years back, I had the opportunity to hear a sales manager address his team. He explained, to achieve a successful sale, you need to follow a few steps. First, find a prospect. Second, capture their attention and interest. Third, build their confidence and create a desire. Finally, close the sale. Interestingly, this process can also be applied to successful prayer. Do you think the infinite is a good choice? Do you have unwavering faith in the healing power of God, the infinite intelligence within you? That's what you're looking for. Begin here to effectively incorporate prayer into your life. This solution can address your problem and bring you happiness, freedom, and peace of mind. Next, we need to capture their attention and pique their interest. If you have complete faith in the healing presence within you, you are aligning yourself with your higher self. Your higher self is the one you should focus on. Direct your focus towards the boundless and sacred love. Have faith in the power of God to bring healing into your life. Be straightforward and transparent. Embrace the power and loyalty of the infinite. You should only give your loyalty and recognition to no other authority. Only when you sell yourself to the infinite will you truly understand. Start utilizing your mind effectively. Only embrace the immense power of the living Spirit Almighty within you. By clearing your mind of false beliefs, you can connect with the infinite presence and experience immediate healing. Put simply, to pray effectively, you must wholeheartedly devote yourself to the soul presence and power within you. You were brought into existence by this power. This has the ability to provide healing. Furthermore, it is crucial to firmly reject granting authority to any external entity or power aside from the infinite. You don't grant any authority to the world of appearances or to any individual location or object, regardless of the issue or ailment. Your focus away from the problem and confidently affirm, there is a powerful healing force within me that is revitalizing, energizing, and restoring my entire being. Love and divine guidance flow through me, guiding me towards the right path and Ultimate freedom, then feeling gratitude. For the positive resolution, celebrate and express gratitude, saying thank you, Father, for the flawless solution I am. Aware that God is working right now, I have connected Ed with his divine energy and fully understand the impact of his infinite power. It is truly amazing. However, redirect your focus to the divine presence and remind yourself of the vast expanse of peace, perfect harmony, completeness, beauty, endless love, and boundless power. Understand that you are deeply cherished and supported by the infinite presence and power. As you engage in this prayer, fear will gradually diminish. Direct your focus towards God and His boundless love, experience and understand that there is a singular healing power and its corresponding principle. No force can oppose the actions of the infinite. Embrace the gentle and heartfelt affirmation that the healing presence is flowing through you, bringing you complete wholeness. Experience the manifestation of harmony, beauty, and life within you as strength, peace, vitality, beauty, wholeness, and right action. When praying about a heart condition, it's important to focus on healing rather than the specific organ that is affected. This goes against the principles of spiritual thinking. Concepts can manifest into reality. Your spiritual thought manifests as cells, tissue, nerves, and organs. Considering a damaged heart or high blood pressure tends to reinforce existing conditions. Stop fixating on symptoms, organs, or any specific body part. Just focus on the infinite healing presence within you, flowing through you as beauty, love, harmony, joy, wisdom, power, and strength. You are truly honoring God with your body. Find happiness in the world, but avoid being consumed by its hardships and challenges. Make sure to fully embrace and enjoy every aspect of it. Don't leave anything unfinished. Providence, love, and the protection of God surround us. Take a moment to observe them with clarity and embrace them with an open heart. Discover and embrace the profound peace and everlasting love of God. Put simply, every thought and feeling you have is considered a prayer. Every thought has the potential to become reality unless countered by a more powerful thought. Prayer involves establishing a conscious connection with the infinite intelligence that resides within you. Prayer is most effective when we acknowledge the presence of a higher power within us that can manifest our desires. Your subconscious mind is influenced by your conscious thoughts and imagination, which is connected to an infinite intelligence. When you entrust your request to your subconscious mind, have complete faith that it possesses the ability to achieve your desires and will respond accordingly. When you find yourself in conflict with someone, try to gather your thoughts and focus on promoting peace and harmony. When encountering hatred in others, remember that divine love has the power to dissolve anything that is not like itself in both their mind and heart as well as your own. It only requires a shift in perception and conviction that everyone has the inherent right to be themselves. Allow them to discover their ultimate fulfillment in God. You will feel a great sense of relief as the burden of the world is lifted from your shoulders. It is not your responsibility to take care of the world. Take a moment to remind yourself that you are not to blame for the problems and injustices of the world. Understand that you are deeply cherished and supported by the infinite presence and power. Practicing this method of prayer will help alleviate fear over time. Direct your thoughts towards God and embrace His love. Experience and understand that there is a singular healing power and its corresponding principle. Let go of your burden, attachment, and worries. Remember, you are loved, guided, and protected by the infinite wisdom within you. Thank you for taking me on this journey with you. This is Dark Psychology World Channel. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, subscribe, like, and share.